always dangerous, and today Laegreid and Kirkeeide take the Norwegian flag down in 8th position after some really bad mixed relays last year. Don't be surprised if you see them challenging the top positions. Now, the lesser known teams, Mike, let's take away France, Sweden, Norway and Germany. Who can we expect to challenge for a top 3?
Well, Finland, not quite the strongest team in this one. We saw how strong they were last year with Suvi Minkkinen in the mix there. She's being used later in the mixed relay. I do think the Finns can throw a surprise. They've got confidence from last year. I wouldn't be surprised if Czechia again can surprise us, as they did yesterday in the women's relay. And further back down, Slovakia, possibly a young team there. And they may not threaten, but the brother and sister duo of Greenland, Bib 24, they really are good, they shoot well, so they'll be thinking our ranking will move up to possibly top 15 today.
Yeah. Did you mention Ada and Hauser, who are teamed up yet again? Certainly the oldest team on the block.
And you know, looking at the performances yesterday, Patrick, they are real contenders for top 3. On a real outside chance here is Simon Eder. Outside chance for a victory. It's been some time in the single mixed relay since they've achieved that. Yeah,
he was shooting fast and shooting well yesterday. He does not have the ski speed that he had a decade ago. And we'll see how he gets on. Germany with Fratscher and Fichtner. A new look team for the Germans. 4th in the mixed relay standings last year. Didn't get any wins last season in the mixed relays. Maybe today will be the day for them. Finland, who got 3rd position in Pakukka at the back end of last season with Minkkinen and Seppälä. They go with Hiddensalu and Lehtinen. So again, untried, I think, fair to say. France there wearing 1, the world champions, and Fabien Claude is in instead of Canton Fiormaillet. Weakens the team a little bit, although some would say Claude is more reliable on the range. Sweden, well, they're going to get some support. They've just got to get through the first shoot, Mike, without making a horror show. And then they'll be real contenders. And Switzerland, who won in Pakukka last year, what a day that was.
Yes, surprises. And I think that's the aspect of this race, Patrick. It gives the smaller, the nations who are not expected to win, it gives them a chance today.
So welcome to Östersund if you've just joined us, Mike and myself, Patrick, for this second day of World Cup competition. 2 relays yesterday, 2 relays today. The individuals start on Tuesday. Quite a nice way to start off the season. And the single mixed is underway. A really good turnout of teams. 24 in all. Greenland have come in, who didn't have enough skiers to compete in the men or the women's relay yesterday. Kazakhstan, who did race yesterday but didn't get to the end. I think their aim will just be to try and finish the race without being lap, Mike. But with this short course, it's even harder than it was yesterday.
Well, exactly that. You're going to be extremely punished if it's a bad first time into the range on this leg. The men further prone, further stand. And you really don't want to hand over with your teammate being disadvantaged by, say, 40 seconds, 45 seconds. Then it's real stress for leg number 2.
Yeah, one really bad shoot and you find yourself in trouble. I wouldn't be surprised if we see the first team taken out of the competition by the time we get to the halfway stage with just 2 of the 4 legs completed. It's a very strong start from Team 15. Berkentals of Latvia has absolutely flown out of the blocks. He did really well, Mike, to get through those in front of him on the grid.
Oh, you've got to be agile, you've got to be able to read the track well. Surprisingly, Sturla, Holm, Laegreid, he's tried to get round some athletes, he keeps on getting roadblocked, but hey, wearing bib number 8, starting further back, and what a strong team this Norwegian team is. They want to lift the ranking in the single mixed relay. 8th last year, they were disappointed.
Yeah, no, it was a poor show last year from the Norwegians. Just looking to see what their best result was. Well, they did get a win in the mixed relay in Kontiolahti. and they got a couple of podiums other than that, but it wasn't the normal domination that we see from the Norwegians. They've got a chance here. Laegreid will just be patient before the first shoot. Tucked in behind him, we've got Sweden's Sebastian Samuelsson, who's teamed up with Ella Halvarsson. They've won the last 2 single mixed relays in the opening World Cup of the season, Mike. So we know the Swedes are always good at this time of year. And when we come out of the first shoot, maybe we should have a chat about the fact that it's an Olympic year and you want your athletes to be in incredible form in February, but what the coach's attitude towards that is. Because so many of them are saying, if you're not in good form in November, December, you won't build any confidence before you go to Italy for the Olympic Games.
Yes, and you know, all sports are about confidence, aren't they? Building that inner confidence. It's so important to have good results. This race is so different, Patrick. Look at the clock, 2:50. They're coming in to shoot. It's been absolutely full pace since the gun, backing off now, and it's not the normal biathlon rhythm. So a lot of these biathletes, it's normally 6 minutes prior to coming into your first shoot. Today it's 3, and that does change a little the way you feel coming into the range.
But this is much more like an interval training session than any other race that we have.
They've managed to get the breathing under control now with that, what, 400 metres slightly slower pace.
Keep an eye on the Austrian target, Kirkeeide. His first one is down, generally very quick. Norway with Laegreid have 4 down. Are they going to clear 5? They do. Austria and Ada go 5. Germany have 5 down. Good start from them with Lucas Fratscher. Austria clear, we mentioned. The Swedes are all out. Who's having a nightmare? Moldova having a nightmare. The Italians very, very slow to get that 5th target down. And Slovakia with 3 misses on that first round are going to find themselves a long, long way adrift.
And proportionally, those 3 spare rounds, they're taking so much time for Slovakia, and now he really is going to be under extreme tension to try and pull time back. Well, at least he didn't miss the final shot there, which would have been a nightmare to have to go onto the penalty loop.
Yeah. So the team's away after that first shoot. Ada was the quickest in the range.
Looking at the stats, Patrick, incredibly, 12 of the 24 teams have gone 5 of these athletes have gone 5 out of 5. It's an easy shooting day compared to yesterday, 2 meters a second, the wind influence. Therefore, very little influence at all. Movement on rifle, movement of the bullet through the air.
Nevertheless, that's an impressive stat to see so many through. The first lap taking 3 minutes, as Mike pointed out just before they came in to shoot. We have a couple of teams that are already over 30 seconds behind. They have to shoot clean from now if they want to stay in contention or stay in the competition.
I think Laegreid showed us why last year he won the overall. Yesterday was good. He took his time on the range. Everybody had to. But today he was, the first time in, he was into his flow, his comfort zone.
Yeah, so, but are you indicating that he's a man that's able to adapt his shooting to the race situation and make an assessment as to what is required?
Yes, honestly, I think he's the most disciplined, and well, we'll see his prone shooting in about, what, 11 minutes' time, but he's one of the most careful in his setup. He always gets his alignment so correct, and then he can release those shots very fast. Very disciplined.
Yeah. Now, this is the only relay, Mike, where if you make a complete hash of it, not only do your teammates suffer, but you suffer because you've got to go again.
You've got to, yeah, and then you've got to really push and attack on the track, which is so difficult to pull time back.
Norway, France, Germany, Sweden, the only 4 teams to medal in the relays last year, and here they are in positions 1, 2, 3 and 4, but not a lot of daylight between them and the chasing teams. Also in contention, we've got the Austrians are in there. The USA had some reasonable results so far. I think they'll be pretty happy with the way the season started.
They will. And the women, Patrick, they're ready. So after the stand shoot and a penalty loop if required, it's now then handing over to the women's leg, which will be the same, a prone on the stand.
Yeah, just worth pointing out that only the final athlete, which will be the women on this occasion, do an extra loop after their final shoot. Just a very short little transit from the range to the handover position. Estonia with 2 wide. Laegreid misses his second shot, which could prove to be expensive. Sweden go clear. France match them. Switzerland are there. Austria go down. Was that Claude who took a little tumble coming off the mat? I think it might have been.
It was, yeah. That's he'll be so disappointed. That loses him maybe 1 or 2 positions.
Well, how's that for a contrast, Mike? Yesterday in the women's relay, Sweden were down in 21st after the first round, and in the men's they were in 18th. Today, they're top of the table, and they are looking to make it 3 opening single mixed relays in succession.
They are sorry. What happened there with Finland? She didn't release Lehtinen. She held back, but I thought he made contact.
Well, at this stage of the race, it's well worth making sure. The Italians somewhat off the pace at the moment. Yeah, there you go. Careless mistake like that. It's only a couple of seconds, but if that had been the final shoot, that could have been very expensive indeed.
Yes, I thought he went face plant down, so he saved himself from going all the way down. Hardly lost any time. Well, Ella Halvarsson has opened up, a little surprising, she's opened up in terms of when the exchange happened. She's only 0.9 of a second ahead, so she certainly managed to create a gap at the front.
Yeah, that's a good effort from Halvarsson. 3 laps, or 2 laps effectively, of 1.5k. Doesn't sound much, but the work rate, if you overcook it on the first one, you pay a hefty price on the second lap.
There's also the issue, so from this high point here, Patrick, it's one of the easiest, I think, descents or entries into a range. But right now, Halvarsson, she's boiling with lactic acid, and she really now needs to try and relax as she gets the ski speed up to carry her back down into the stadium.
Yeah, what are you giving estimate? That's 15 seconds now since she rounded the corner at the top of the climb. We're looking at least a 35-second rest before the shoot, if not 45, 55.
It is. You get this first initial rest, and in fact you hardly feel much recovery because there's a rise before this left-hander, and you have to work. Your legs are still screaming after the effort she's put in on that track. Now this is the real recovery, and it's only about 15 seconds.
Yeah, that's 40 seconds already. I don't think you'd go so far as to say skiing on the flat is effortless, but it's certainly a lot easier than the uphills.
And you know, home advantage here. Halvarsson knows this range from all the summer training, the autumn training. Yes, they've done foreign camps, but let's hope that home advantage works today. But she really has punched the pace hard.
Yeah, but Mike, 99% of the training she does here is without a crowd, and that crowd does not help any home team.
No, that's historically it doesn't, but mentally she will be prepared for this pressure situation.
Yeah, and I wouldn't say the Swedes are the best team at performing at home. Trying to think who are. The French find it difficult. Norway on occasion find it difficult. Halvarsson at the moment going very nicely. 3 out of 3, 4 out of 4. If this goes down, there'll be a decent cheer.
Wonderful.
Oh, Kirkeeide broke her rhythm for that 5th shot, and it's going to cost us 7 or 8 seconds. France, Switzerland, Germany, Austria, Slovenia, Estonia, Poland are away. This is why the single mixed relay is such a cracking race, because so many of the smaller teams can stay in contention for longer.
Yes, I really love it. It's, as a biathlete, it's tense out there. We saw Kirkeeide. I thought she'd get the 5th shot there, but again, the tension, the urgency in this race, it's really amplified. Italy, Ockenthaler would have hoped to put that down. She's having to use one spare.
Yeah, so things not going the way of the Italians at the moment. Sweden have yet to miss a target. The French haven't missed either. And Poland have done well. They shot well yesterday. They've done it again today. Jakiela clearing those first 5. And they find themselves just 16 seconds off the leaders. The teams at the back, Mike, are now a minute and a half behind already.
Yeah, that's so tough mentally, Patrick, to be now a minute 10 behind. The Greenland team were in 15th, down to 19th now.
So Kirkeeide hit the first 4, missed number 5. Ziggy not hugely impressed with that. Sweden getting away. It's only 8 seconds. But if Halvarsson can clear 5 out of 5 in the stand, she could convert that into a lead of 30 seconds or so, because the tension is going to be in the group with all the athletes side by side.
Yes, Halvarsson not holding back at all the second time up the steep climb. Same strategy as the first time around. She's got slightly increased lead compared to her first lap.
Yeah. Now, we were talking about the Olympics, Mike, and how, you know, you want to sort of be on a good form in November, December, and build it all the way through the Christmas break. The Swedes, however, say, look, the Olympics is obviously the big event this year, but the most important World Cup for us is Östersund, this one here in Sweden, because all their backers, all their sponsors are here.
It's a difficult one, isn't it? Of course you want to perform well, and it's 2 weekends. It's a big racing, almost like the Olympics, the amount of days racing. And yes, I totally agree. You want to impress your sponsors, but then you do need to be careful after it. But with the journey to Austria and then another World Cup next weekend, it's hard to regain, to recover after an intense week this week.
We're coming up to the 4th of 8 shoots in this single mixed relay. Not even 15 minutes on the clock, and we're not far away. We're expecting a winning time of around 32 minutes, or maybe a little bit more. Actually, the last time we raced a single mix here in Sweden 2 years ago, the winning time was 37.46. I think we're going to be quicker than that today. The conditions are pretty firm. It's all artificial snow at the moment. And there's no real snow forecast until next weekend. Big moment now for Halvarsson. This is a test of her mind as well as her shooting skills. Can she block out the response of the crowd?
Oh, that's going to put a little pressure on. Her pulse rate still at 172 on the 4th shot. Oh, that was lucky.
Yeah, but that's good, though. 4 out of 5, I think, is a decent score. Berserger now for Switzerland, 2 out of 2. Very nice rhythm from Berserger. Down goes 4. She could be on the tail of the leaders, but she chose 5 wide. Germany with a mistake. France with a mistake. And Norway with Kirkeeide, their up-and-coming star, are back up into the top 2. And they're only going to be, 5 or 6 seconds? Is a little more than that. Keep your eye on the clock. It goes to 5.9. Switzerland at 8.8. France at 10.6. All of those 4 teams are in the running, and Austria are far from out of it, and so are Germany.
What a shame for Estonia, Patrick. Susan Holm came in, felt the pressure, or the physical pressure maybe, and now she's on the penalty loop. They were in the top 5.
Poland dropping to 29. Poland came in just 23, so losing 6 seconds or so. Sweden's lead coming into the range was 15 seconds. They've lost 10 of that because of that one missed shot from Halvarsson. Very, very interesting, but really impressive from AB Paserga, Mike, and Kirkeeide. Those two really the stars of that fourth shoot.
Yeah, they put it together. I did like the way that that Halvarsson managed the situation. She looked entirely composed coming in, and she'd certainly recovered from the big attack out of the stadium. Paserga, yeah, quick drills there to get the spare round. Didn't hesitate much prior to squeezing the trigger.
Halvarsson the quickest on that second leg. Kirkeeide 1.6 behind her. Fichtner had a good run. Holm of Estonia only 11.2 despite that penalty loop, so that was good performance from her. And Samuelsson digging deep now. Can he capitalise on that 5.9 second lead he had going into this second leg? Puts a little bit of pressure on the likes of Laegreid and Claude.
And Samuelsson, very clever racer now. He's such a mature racer, having spent so many years in international competition. He's deliberately put the pace so high that he knows Laegreid, Claude, they have to work hard to try and haul that time in, and I don't think they will.
Yeah, maybe not on the snow, but it's only a missed shot, isn't it? You know, if you slightly fumble around when you're reloading, that's 7 or 8 seconds easy thrown away, and you have to use the 3 spares before you can move on. As you say, he's been on the tour a long time, Mike. He was in the World Cup team at what, 18, and here he is many years later with a huge amount of experience. But yes, he's in that block of athletes, Mike, that you have to say is somewhat unreliable.
I think so. From what I've heard, Jean-Marc and another coach coming in, a shooting coach that is, they've got his shooting more reliable, and that's got to be a good and relaxed feeling.
Okay, let's see. It's easy to talk a good game, but there you see the difference. Laegreid on 95, Samuelsson on 89. Four-shot advantage to Sweden at the moment. Claude very slow to get the first round away, but if they all go down, it will pay off. The first 2 are clear. France need to match them if they want to stay in the running for the win. They do so. Switzerland with a slight hiccup. That could be very expensive. Seb Sturla throws those first 2 wide, and now he's got to watch out for those athletes behind him rather than chasing those in front. Austria go 5 with 5. There's nothing that Simoneda can't do despite being on the wrong side of 40. Germany with 5 out of 5, and Poland trying to keep themselves in the running for a top 6 result here in Östersund.
Well, Sturla, Patrick, he's really suffering with that intense pace, so he's brought himself into the range for Switzerland, much higher than you'd like to in terms of physical, and he doesn't often miss target, Sturla. Poland, I think we'll see a lot of Poland, and especially Skorusha as the season goes on. He was a very good junior, and I think he's going to be one of the best or challengers in the future for the overall.
Yeah, Samuelsson came in 12 seconds ahead, so he gained 5.5 seconds on the lap, Mike, but he lost it all. He's gone out 4.7 ahead. I guess you could say that's playing to his strengths.
Yes, I think so, and he'll certainly rapidly attack his second lap again, that's for certain. It was a good rhythm, Patrick. There was nothing lost there. His set-up time maybe a little slower than alongside him. Laegreid.
Laegreid the quickest shot, 37. Well, his range time, which is far more important, really, 37.6. Now, will Samuelsson be able to build his lead back up into double figures? 8.6 kilometers covered so far. So Samuelsson has only about another 500 meters, 600 meters to go before he hands over to Ella Halvarsson, who was impeccable on her first run. And Laegreid at 7.2. He's lost 2.5 seconds. And Fabien and Claude losing just a fraction more, having come out of the range at 11.0.
Laegreid is just really forcing the pace here, trying to close it down, put pressure alongside Samuelsson when he arrives for the standing.
Well, there you can see the margin, 50 metres at the most between the two greatest rivals in Nordic sport and biathlon, Sweden and Norway. Sweden have been the up-and-coming team, Mike. Would you say that their rise to the top really started in Pyeongchang?
I think so. You know, Wolfgang Pichler, that was his aim, was to get medals in the relays, and he achieved that aim. And that gave, he said, give them medals in the short distance. That's the easier one to train for, and then we will become good. But their shooting historically has let them down. That looks much better this season.
Yeah, and remember, Sweden took the first World Championship gold medal in the mixed relay when that was introduced. What was that? Back in 2007. That was a smart move to focus on that. Now, Samuelsson to make Halvarsson's job that little bit easier. 5 out of 5, and he has more than done his job. Excellent shooting, and a little bit of an advantage. 7-8 second advantage coming their way because Laegreid misses shot number 1. And Claude again, as he did it in the prone, taking just that little bit longer to get the first round away. It's going to be a healthy lead, definitely back into double figures.
Claude has missed the 4th and the 5th, feeling the pressure, maybe the physical pressure, not breathing enough in between shots.
So we're back to 12.9, and Halvarsson versus Kirkeeide. Head-to-head, I think you'd back the Norwegian, but that 12-second advantage, 13-second advantage could make a massive difference, and France are out of it. A penalty loop to pay, and they're going to struggle to make the podium. They will not challenge for the win, with a gap of over 30 seconds between them and the leaders. Germany come out in 3rd, and Austria are still there. I think the crowd would love to see Ada, and of course, Austria's Hauser, yeah. I nearly said Stadlober, but I meant Hauser. Stadlober, of course, the top Austrian woman on the cross-country tour for a number of years.
Oh, well, that was so expensive for France. Claude, and I was going to mention it earlier, in the second time in for standing, he missed 2 years ago, and I thought that might well be in the back of his mind.
You can't afford to have a race from last week in your mind, let alone one from 2 years ago.
Yeah, you know, and being brought in at, at short notice to the team, there's some elements there. Normally, he would have taken that shot. He only had 1 miss and 3 spares to get it down. And then panic set in, taking longer and longer to place that round into the chamber. Amott is not impressed. He knows his athlete is much, much better than what he witnessed there.
So 12 seconds between Sweden and Norway when we last saw them. There you see the readouts on the bottom of your screen. Germany at 30, Austria at 40. I think there's still a battle for 3rd and 4th, but I think the win is going to go to Sweden or Norway. 2 shoots remaining, lots can go wrong. Ella Halvarsson, what did she hit? 9 out of the first 10, missed 1 in the stand.
Yeah, she was pretty good. Same score, I think, as Kirkeeide here. Kirkeeide really having to punch hard. Did you see her results recently in the selection race for cross-country racing? She finished 10th. Yeah. Alongside, yeah, that was, and you know, it's different when you're racing without the rifle. It doesn't quite feel the same. That 4 kilogram or nearly 4 kilo so high on your shoulders.
Doesn't feel the same. It feels a whole lot better.
It does, but you're not used to the rhythm. You're not quite used to the tempo that you can now give without that rifle.
Yeah, the limb speed needs training, but she would have done a fair amount of summer training on the roller skis without the rifle. That's for sure. Hauser goes through in 4, now at 45, so she's lost 2 seconds to Germany so far on this first lap of the last leg. And remember, the skiers on the last lap ski an extra 1.5k. They do a full loop after they've shot in the stand position.
I'm just thinking France and Camile Benet down at 49 seconds now. There's a lot of pressure there. She's normally a very good and safe shot on the range. will be interesting to see how she copes this pressure.
Yeah.
He can smile. He can smile. He's done everything so perfectly well.
There's a little change on the sights. Was that anti-clockwise? Couple of clicks.
Yep, so she must have received that information from the coaches coming in.
12.7. No significant change in the gap. Kirkeeide taking a long time to get that first shot away, and so Sweden stay a full 4 shots clear, and from 12.7 it could be going up to around 25 seconds. The pressure is on and Germany are providing it. So Norway eventually, 2 spares required. Germany are going to be well over 30 seconds behind now, so they are really just trying to hold off their neighbours, Austria. And they don't really want France or Switzerland to get a look in either.
I thought Austria and the great Lisa Teresa, I thought it would be 5 out of 5, but she's losing, what, 5-6 seconds with the spare round.
So Hauser, what's the margin going to be? 38.5. It's about 12 seconds from the mat to the timing one. So certainly she's going to be 45 seconds behind, if not closer to 50. 50.7.
Benet did so well there, rapid 5 out of 5, so accurate. She maybe loses now a little in terms of track time.
1 shoot to go. It's in the stand position after 2 full-on laps of the 1.5k course. Halvarsson is not quite there, but if you'd offered her a lead like this going into the final shoot last night, she certainly would have taken it.
So just on the edge there at 12 o'clock, was that a slight nervous twitch reaction through the trigger? Most likely.
Samuelsson and Laegreid, the 2 quickest on that last leg. Sweden have made a habit of winning events in the first World Cup of the season. They came close in the men's relay yesterday, finishing 3rd, but that was after a disastrous start. And here they are in a very good position. And Halvarsson will clock exactly where the opposition are. Maren, Kirkeeide, some way behind. I think they're pretty safe, aren't they, Mike? 25 seconds.
It certainly feels that. I was just going through my mind, computing, you know, what are the issues here? If anything, Halvarsson is the least experienced in the women's team, the existing World Cup women's team. So this is new territory. To be 25 seconds ahead, it's all there in your hands to lose. And I think she'll be okay, but there can be a huge element of pressure and panic as she comes in for this last time.
Yeah, she only required 1 spare in the relay yesterday, Halvarsson, in the standing position. She's got a hit rate of 83%, which is 6 percentage points lower than Kirkeeide in the standing position. But even if she clears all 5, I think she can afford 3 misses, clears the 5, and she is still going to have a very slim lead.
Yep. Benet actually is putting in a decent track time there for France, but certainly not to challenge the first position.
Yeah, Germany, Austria, France, only separated by 11 seconds at the moment. Those positions could change. Belgium just get out of the range in time to keep Halvarsson at bay. Last shoot for Sweden. We have seen many a meltdown at this stage of a race from the Norwegians and from the Swedes, particularly the Swedes here in Östersund. Let's hope it doesn't happen. That's a nerve settler. Whoa. 4 out of 5. She'll certainly be happy with that. Plenty of time. 3 rounds to clear 1. The pulse coming down all the time. That goes wide. Now, if this one misses, and you can tell Not quite as smooth with the reloading. Down it goes, and that is it. 1.5k to go, and the miss from Kirkeeide seals the victory for Sweden. And suddenly, the Norwegian is thinking about defending second place. No problem. Away she goes. She can have an easy ski. The margin is going to be in double figures. What, she came in, 25 behind, so she's done pretty well.
She really has. Kirkeeide showing again at 22-year-old, the maturity, the mind control, and the dealing with pressure. Beautiful from Germany. Fichtner, no stress at all, 5 out of 5.
Yeah, that's important, but it's not in the bag yet because Benet of France is on a hill, and Benet was pretty quick. Hauser is out as well. It was an 11-second gap between these three. Let's see what it's down to. So, Germany at 37, France at 41, and we're under 10 seconds between third, fourth and fifth. Hauser is going to have to produce one of her best skis if she's going to challenge for third. Well, there you see the time differences after that 8th and final shoot. We may well get another split at the top of the hill. Kirkeeide doesn't look to me as though she's making the chase. 15 seconds was the gap, and that means making a second back every 100 metres. Not an easy task.
No way. So yeah, Norway's safe in second. I think this is going to be real pressure for Germany. I think Benet is going to, well, she's almost caught her already.
Yeah, the gap was just under 10 seconds, I think, between Fichtner and Benet. 37 to 41. Actually, it was way less than that. It was 5 seconds at the very most. And Benet makes a positive move, keeps the pace going. This is where Fichtner has to find something special. She's probably best just to tuck in behind the French athlete and ride in her wake all the way down to the flat section leading into the finish.
And I think this really will extend Fichtner from her potential coming into this race. She now needs to find ski form that she doesn't normally show, but it's certainly an advantage to be tucked in behind. Some great shooting. The wind was there, 2 meters a second, barely an influence on the rifle, but looks like Germany, the best shooting team, with only 3 spare rounds. That's impeccable shooting.
Well, Fichtner goes for, I was going to say goes for gold, but that's going to Sweden, because Ella Halvarsson has produced 2 fantastic legs in this relay, backed up by Samuelsson on his best form. So Sweden, having missed out in the women's relay yesterday, they got a 3rd in the men's. They get the win that they were after. So important to them, and it's becoming a habit. That's 3 times they've won the first single mixed relay of the season in succession. Now, who is going to take 3rd spot? 2nd goes to Norway. 1 or 2 too many mistakes on the range, but they've got huge potential.
I'm amazed Fichtner went back to the front. It was always in her advantage to stay behind until this last 50 metres.
Yeah, and Fichtner's just lost her balance, lost the momentum. That hands 3rd place to France, who have yet to finish off the podium. They've got a full set of medals so far here in Östersund. A 1st, a 2nd and a 3rd, and Germany miss out on this occasion. Oh, slimmest of margins, half a second between them, but that was a tactical mistake rather than a physical lacking.
Well, it's quite an advantage to have the best line, to take the left-hand lane as we look at it there, but it didn't work out. I think she should have stayed in behind a little longer before she passed.
Yeah, when you come past, you want to make sure the opposition do not have an opportunity to come back at you, and that means timing your sprint to perfection. You know, even if she'd done it 50 metres later, Mike, that might have paid off.
I think so. You did tension to try and ski at a pace she's not normally accustomed to. But overall, I mean, a good day for Germany. Missing only 3 targets, 3 spare rounds is pretty much up there with as good as it can be on a day like today.
Yeah, so the same team as last year. Halvarsson Samuelsson win here in Östersund. It was Hanna Öberg and Samuelsson who won in 23 in the first race of the year. And that, Mike, of the, 8 single mixed relays we've had in the first round of the World Cup, Sweden have won 50%.
That's pretty good. Great stats.
The other winners, incidentally, Norway with 2, Austria with 1, the Hauser-Ada combination that were in action again today, and just missed out on the last range, really. Austria were in contention for a podium, pretty much through to the last leg, and France with only 1 win at the start of the season in this discipline. That coming with Durand Hebert and Martin Fourcade. Italy in 11th, not the result they were waiting for, but the Italians putting their emphasis today on the mixed relay, which I think is a sign for the Olympic Games, because remember, the single mixed relay will not be part of the Olympic programme. Only 11 biathlon races at the Olympics this year.
Claude in the picture we just saw, he will be disappointed. He knows that he's better than a penalty lap on the final stand, having only need to put 1 target down with 3 spare rounds.
If it had been Kontiolahti, would you have seen the results going another way?
Yes. Yeah, based on his, yes, certainly based on his performance yesterday, Fabien looks so solid, and of course he's one of the few athletes with better statistics standing than he has thrown. Very secure standing when it comes to big pressure as well.
Yeah, USA down in 18th, Lithuania 19. I must say, quite impressed that so many teams got through. I don't think anyone got lapped in the end. There was me thinking we'd see people out before the halfway, but they've performed well. Belgium down in 20, 3 penalty loops skied. Now, a team like Belgium have to rely on good shooting, which is what they've done in the past. Canada, another team that have missed too many targets today, but only 1 penalty loop skied. Lots of spare rounds required, and each spare round, 6-7 seconds on a good day.
Oh yeah, it's punishing. I think one of the happiest teams will be Greenland, ranked 24th, finishing 16th, and only 6 spare rounds. Their shooting really is in place. Ski speed a little off pace there today.
Yeah, family affair for the Slettemarks. Well done to them. But the day belonging to the host nation, Sweden taking the win. Samuelsson and Halvarsson, unbeatable form from them. Well, there are the winning couple, and great work from Sweden. It'd be interesting to see what they do in the mixed relay this afternoon. Plenty of winter sport going on this weekend, the start of the season for the cross-country skiers and the ski jumpers as well. Ski jumpers in action next up in Rukk. It's already gone dark up there. It's cold and it's dark, icy conditions for the cross-country this morning, but do stay tuned for that. Ian Finlay on hand to cover the ski jumping event. So 3 races, Mike, 3 different teams winning.
It's been a very interesting start today. Much improved shooting as expected with the decent wind conditions. Yeah, always an exciting race this. And Sweden, on paper, they're a strong team, but of course without Hanna Öberg, slightly weakened, you could argue. And as expected, Norway making the podium. 35.12 the winning time, which is
a couple of minutes quicker. 37.46 the winning time 2 years ago here. Snow conditions make all the difference. It's nice and firm. It was a bit colder overnight than they'd forecast, and the cold lasting right the way throughout the day, so it's not going to get above 0 today, and that bodes well for next week. They could just do with about a foot of fresh snow. That would get the technicians panicking a little. Germany missing out. Austria still competitive, Mike. Experience certainly, even though it's essentially a sprint event. The oldest team in the block finishing in the top 5.
That is a good performance. Slightly off there in terms of ski pace. Hauser started her laps well, but fatigued on the final time of asking. So form will come, and of course the World Cup in Hochfilzen coming up. They need to be, and they do look a much improved team this year, the Austrian team.
Yeah, and if you're wondering why the women had to ski the extra loop at the end, all things equal in biathlon, next time around it will be the men that take the second leg and end up skiing that extra 1.5. You can't have equality without that extra 1.5 at the end, and I think it works well, Mike, because you have to